Hello, very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News and Wednesday's calendar.
A warm welcome to the programme. Here's what's happening in the next half an hour.
One final pilgrimage. The 99-year-old Yorkshire D-Day veteran making his last journey to Normandy to honour comrades who helped win victory in Europe.
I've had the advantage of living another 80 years. Some people say to me, "You're a hero." I said, "No, I'm not. The heroes are the people who are still over there."
The greatest gift, with thousands desperately awaiting sight-saving corneal transplants. We see firsthand the impact donations are making.
I would say it's the greatest gift you can give. Do think about the donors daily, because it's such a big thing.
It's the best feeling in the world to know that I can do this and give my sight to somebody else. It's my legacy. I've left a legacy.
Also tonight, painting the city claret and amber, a party night to remember for the promotion-winning Bantams.
And I'm here in Burley Wharfdale, where the Brownies have been beavering away to bring together a bounty of beautiful bookmarks, all to be auctioned off for charity.
Good evening. On the eve of VE Day, when the world will stop to mark the 80 years since the end of World War II, a veteran from North Yorkshire will be at the centre of those commemorations.
Ken Cook, who's now 99, was part of the D-Day invasion, where he saw countless friends and comrades lose their lives on the beaches of Normandy.
Ken survived and is now making his final pilgrimage to honour those brothers in arms. Tomorrow, he'll be at the British Memorial, close to where he came ashore back in 1944. Katie Oscroft is there for us tonight. Now, Katie, you've been with Ken all of this week. What will he be doing tomorrow?
Well, Lara, he'll be amongst a crowd of some 300 people and he'll be the central figure in a parade which will wend its way to this magnificent and very poignant memorial. He will then lay a wreath in honour of his fallen comrades. But this ceremony is just the culmination of a busy week in Normandy for Ken. He's visited the exact spot on Gold Beach where he came ashore on D-Day all those years ago, and he started the day in Jerusalem Cemetery where British soldiers are buried. He admitted it's been an emotional time. One of the most poignant parts of this trip. Here, Ken Cook gives thanks for his years of life.
Well, it brought back memories. Just like that when I first started looking at the stones. It clicked in here. That was it.
One of these graves is that of a 16-year-old boy.
I've had the advantage of living another 80 years where those people haven't. They've missed those 80 years, what I've had. And our landing craft came up this way, and I jumped off the landing craft to there.
Earlier, Ken stood on Gold Beach recalling the first time he was there.
This is it. They're on the beach.
Aged 18, he unwittingly became a significant part of history, the D-Day invasions, which paved the way for the liberation of Europe and VE Day. But the war was to take its toll on Ken.
I've got rid of a lot of flashbacks with different things, talking to different people. I still get, some that I'll never get rid of, but I'm comfortable as I am now.
So I was in my 30s before I found out anything about it. I knew a little bit, but not very much at all. I knew when I was young he had nightmares, and I didn't know really what that was all about. There must have been things that he's seen that he's blocked out and never speaks about, which is quite understandable. And but it's nice. It's nice for him to come back and remember his friends.
Because they were carrying men over.
A pleasure too for tourists to meet Ken, like Francis and Rachel from America.
It is incredibly special to meet Ken. He's 99 years old, and it's really great because When I came here, I didn't realize I was going to meet anybody who actually had landed here, and this is an incredible honor.
Hear him talk about his experience that day. It's very special.
Special too for Pat and Jill, who said their late father, Evan Oswald Evans, would have loved a chat with Ken.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wouldn't stop talking about it. Amazing. Yeah. And very much like Ken, remembering the good times, the laughing point, or maybe that's all he was going to share.
Yeah.
But so much camaraderie there.
And does all this bring it to life, what your dad went through? Memories too of Stephen Newbury. He would have been 104 today. His daughter Liz is among those travelling with Ken.
It wasn't until his later years that he started to open up to the family, and we started to get snippets of what exactly it was like for him during his experience. So it's really nice to be able to relive some of that with Ken and talk about exactly what he went through, what he endured as part of those troops.
And alongside tomorrow's celebrations, those troops will be remembered.
It's an honour to lay the wreath, to remember those lads, you know, didn't come home. And that's what some people say to me, you're a hero. I said, no, I'm not. The heroes are the people who are still over there.
Ken Cook will be the centre of attention on an important day tomorrow to mark the liberation of this country at the end of a bitter and bloody war.
Well, amazing to hear Ken's story there. Katie, how important is all of this to the people who actually live there?
Well, Lara, VE Day is a national holiday here. The relief at the end of the war and occupation was immense, and it's a much bigger deal than in our country, and that is why Ken Cook plays such an important role, because he was one of the soldiers who either risked or lost their lives taking part in a mission which effectively brought about peace here. And for that, people want to thank him. Now, he did tell us that he'd had what you might have called a better offer. The King wanted him to go to Buckingham Palace tomorrow, but he said no, he had to be in Normandy. But you can be sure that people here will make a big fuss of him.
Katie Oscroft, thank you so much, live in Normandy there for us. And of course we'll have more on the VE Day commemorations both in Normandy and across our region tomorrow.
Yes, we certainly will. Now then, of course, you're watching Calendar with Laura Rostron and Ian White, and still to come before 6:30.
The Brownies here in Burley and Wharfdale have been gathering together a bounty of beautiful bookmarks, all to be auctioned off for a very special charity.
And our very own Chris Dork sent me this photograph first thing this morning of a marvellous mackerel sky. Thought he was the only one. Nope, more of your photos and the forecast a little later on.
Some more news from around the region now, and two former West Yorkshire police officers have appeared in court charged with child sex offences dating back to the 1990s.
William Baker and Ian Hopkinson were at Leeds Magistrates Court this afternoon. Well, our reporter Amelia Beckett is there for us now. And Amelia, just tell us what happened in court today.
Well, the two defendants appeared together in court. They spoke only to confirm their names, ages and addresses. Baker, who's now 78 and lives in Cornwall, is charged with 3 counts of indecent assault on a girl under the age of 16 and 2 counts of rape of a female under 16, while Hopkinson, who's now 63, has been charged with 5 counts of indecent assault on a girl under the age of 16 and 5 counts of rape of a female under 16. Now, the charges came about after one woman came forward in 2023 alleging she was the victim of serious sexual offences which took place between 1992 and 1995 in West Yorkshire. Both the defendants were serving on the mounted unit at the time in Pontefract. A third former West Yorkshire police officer was also arrested over the allegations but has since died. Now, neither man entered a plea today. This is too serious to be heard at magistrates, so it's expected they'll appear at Leeds Crown Court at a date in June.
Amelia Beckett live for us at Leeds Magistrates Court. Thank you.
More than 20 firefighters have been tackling a blaze at a row of houses in Bradford. The fire broke out at a property in Summerbridge Crescent this afternoon before spreading to neighbouring homes. No one was injured. 3 fire crews are still damping down and an investigation into the cause is underway.
A man has denied the murder of a teenage refugee who was stabbed to death in the street in Huddersfield. Ahmad Mamdou Al-Ibrahim, who was 16 and from Syria, was stabbed in the neck in Ramsden Street last month. 20-year-old Alfie Franco appeared by video link at Leeds Crown Court this morning. He pleaded not guilty and a trial has been set for the 6th of October.
The mother of a 3-year-old boy who died from sepsis has told an inquest that the care he got at hospital was chaotic and he wasn't given antibiotics early enough.
Oscar Neelings died at Chesterfield Royal Hospital in November 2023 after contracting a Strep A infection. Giving evidence to the hearing, Stephanie Neelings said there was a lack of communication and leadership in her son's care, and none of the doctors at the hospital picked up that he had sepsis. The inquest due to last 2.5 weeks. Well, next to the patients living with terminal illness, giving others the gift of sight. It's part of a campaign by a York hospice encouraging people to consider donating their eyes to help fill a national shortage of corneas.
The shortage is blamed on a reluctance of people to donate eyes, even though they're happy to give up other organs. Just one cornea, the top layer of the eye, can help restore the sight of up to 10 people. Amelia Shalish has been speaking to a gardener from Leeds who says that it was life-changing for him.
Today, Chris shares his love of gardening with his daughter. But the simple act of watering the seeds and watching the plants and flowers grow once seemed impossible.
I think I was probably 14, 15. I noticed my vision was I was starting to struggle seeing as well as I could do. It turned out I had a condition called keratoconus. I wasn't able to cross roads without sometimes having to ask my family to come and help. Family members would be walking the distance we are now and I wouldn't recognise them.
After his vision rapidly worsened, Chris was placed on the waiting list for a corneal transplant.
At the time I didn't actually know that you could donate your corneas until I needed it myself. Yeah, looking on it now, it's the difference it's made to my entire life. It's just a different person. I do think about the donors daily, almost because it's such a big thing.
But donors are in short supply. In the UK, there are around 6,000 people on the waiting list for a cornea transplant, and the average waiting time is around 1.5 years. Now, one hospice in York is encouraging people who are reaching the end of their lives to discuss donating their eyes with their loved ones. Margaret is living with terminal pancreatic cancer.
Then I was told that I had 2 years. Then I got another shock and was told I had months. So I just live every day as it comes. Because I can't change what is going to happen, I just live with it.
So, Margaret, why have you made this decision to donate your corneas?
It's the best feeling in the world to know that I can do this and give my sight to somebody else and see what I've seen, you know. It's my legacy. I've left a legacy.
And it's also something to live on in somebody else, isn't it?
Yes,
it doesn't seem as though we've lost everything, you know, when that day comes. You know, Margaret's organs, her eyes, her corneas will actually help up to another 10 people. So that's got to be a good thing, hasn't it?
The hospice hopes that by starting the conversation, they can help to reduce the national shortage.
This is something that our patients can do. Age is not a factor. Some cancers are not a factor. However, what is the issue is that 5,000 corneas need to be retrieved annually. There's a shortage of corneas. And if we can raise the profile of this with our patients and make a difference to patients needing corneas, then I think that's within our gift to do so.
And for Chris, it's something he'll never forget.
I would say it's the greatest gift you can give. Obviously for me, I was waiting for someone to pass away. And still don't forget that, and I'll never know who my donors were, but I see it as a thing of kind of trying to live life for them now.
That was Chris Cole ending Amelia Shalish's report there, and you can see more on the story and details of how you can get involved on the calendar website.
Yes, an incredible story there. Now then, the ITV Evening News continues at 6:30. Let's find out what's on the programme tonight. Here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up, world leaders urge restraint after India attacks Pakistan. The strikes overnight were in response to a terror attack 2 weeks ago in the Pakistani-controlled part of Kashmir. We will have the latest from the Vatican as the cardinals meet to choose the next pope. And revealed the shortlisted ideas for the national memoriam to the late Queen Elizabeth. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Thank you, Mary. Now, most of us love a coffee, don't we? In fact, in the UK, we drink almost 100 million cups of the stuff every single day.
And if you're one of those coffee lovers, you've probably noticed that prices have been steadily rising. And a new study predicts that we could soon be paying £5 a go, can you believe it, in our local coffee shop.
The industry blames climate change, saying that it's pushing up the cost of beans. But would latte lovers pay a £5 for their daily fix? Katie Ridley went to Leeds to find out.
From flat white to espresso and Americano to latte, as a nation we consume 98 million cups of coffee a day. But soon, catching up over a coffee could cost you more. Here at Forester Cafe in Leeds, they're concerned about the price of coffee beans.
Over the last 12 months, we've been eagerly watching the price of coffee because it's doubled. We've seen it doubled, although it has doubled, we haven't increased our prices. And to be fair, most of our wholesalers haven't increased the prices yet because we feel that price might drop.
Most of us drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day, and according to the British Coffee Association, 80% of people that come to shops like this one do so on a weekly basis. But experts are warning, due to the cost of beans, we could soon be paying at least £5 for a cup.
As climate change affects coffee crops in Brazil and Vietnam, the world's largest producers, the British Coffee Association says that it will start affecting prices here.
These weather-related issues have simply meant that the production level has dropped compared to where it had been a couple of years ago, but demand is obviously still on the increase, certainly in Europe and in the UK. So supply and demand has pushed the prices up.
But would customers here in Leeds pay £5 for a coffee?
Cheap coffee like latte is nice, and if it goes up, then no, that really sucks, doesn't it?
I think it's ridiculous, but like everything else, we've just got to learn to survive.
So as the price of your daily fix grows, the biggest question is, how much are you willing to pay for yours? Katie Ridley, ITV News.
Yes, and just another, 12 minutes before I can put the kettle on and have a coffee myself. Now then, I'm pretty sure there were some sore heads after Bradford City's promotion party last night. Thousands of Bantams fans flooded City Park to hail their heroes for securing their return to League One with a dramatic last-minute winner against Fleetwood Town on Saturday. An open-top bus parade with the players and management team and some of the staff left Valley Parade and slowly wound its way through the streets lined with cheering amber and gold supporters to City Park, where Graham Alexander and his men made their way onto the pavilion area above the Cakehole Cafe to the delight of their jubilant fans.
We knew it was a big occasion where people who have been at this club a good few years know what the size of club it is and what it means to so many people, the fans, the community, and yeah, we didn't expect something like this, but this is very special. We just need to try and enjoy it as much as we can. It's amazing to see so many turn out for us today, and yeah, like we can only thank them for the support throughout the full season and the last few years. It's been really, really enjoyable.
It's quite a celebration. Congratulations to them. Now then, every life they save, every emergency they respond to and every patient they transport. It's all made possible thanks to fundraisers and the generosity of others.
Yes, the Yorkshire Air Ambulance is called out 4 times a day on average, and it serves a population of approximately 5 million people across the region.
Well, Sarah Clark has been to meet the crew along with a couple planning to trek 48 miles in 2 days to play their part in helping the charity.
Any fundraising challenge takes effort, commitment and a focus on helping others. And that's exactly what Natalie Whittle and her husband Adam are doing.
we've got this, we can do it.
110%.
Today is just training, but tomorrow they're climbing the Yorkshire Three Peaks not once, but twice in consecutive days.
It's going to be really difficult for me. I've got osteoarthritis in both my knees as well as asthma, so it is a real challenge. Sometimes I've had tough times and I have had to stop, but having the charity in my mind is going to make me just keep going. Even if I've got to stop, I'll have a little break, but then I'll just keep going again, thinking of the lives it's going to save.
Without them, transport, saving people's lives, you wouldn't even get nowhere closest to an helicopter as quick as you can, basically, in open outdoors. So something like air ambulance does play an important part. Whatever weather comes, we'll just get through it bit by bit, and jobs are good.
And to learn more about the charity, they've come to its base to meet the crew whose fast actions help save loved ones.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Fanny.
We probably average about 4 missions a day normally. And the great thing about the helicopter is it can get care to the patient really, really quickly, so it can start the life-saving treatment as soon as possible for that patient.
Treatment which wouldn't be given without the help of fundraisers like Natalie and Adam.
I think that's an amazing effort. The thought of just doing it the once is enough, so the fact that they're doing it twice is just, unreal.
And they're doing it obviously for your charity. How do you feel about that?
Really, really overwhelmed. It's due to people like this that I'm able to do my job, really, and it's great.
Last year, the charity helped over 12,000 patients in the region. It's those selfless acts of fundraising which will continue to fuel the life-saving missions in the future. Sarah Clark, ITV News.
They do such a wonderful job. Well, finally tonight, if you've read a children's bedtime story over the last decade, well, there's a good chance that you'll be aware of Alex Scheffler. He's the amazing artist behind such creations as Zog, Superworm, and most famously, of course, the Gruffalo.
I bet you've read a few
I've read
over the
all of
years.
them.
Well, he's just one of the big names lending a hand to a West Yorkshire group of brownies as they raise funds for children in Zimbabwe.
Well, Fraser Maud is live at the Girls HQ in Burley and Wharfdale. Fraser, what is all this about?
Oh, well, the brownies are beavering away. That's brownies beavering away, not beavers brownieing away. They're slightly older than the beavers. They've been bringing together a bounty of beautiful bookmarks from famous authors, celebrities, actors and artists from right across the world. And they are absolute works of art. They are beautiful. They're all going to be available for auction for a very good cause. And the lady who can tell us about that good cause, of course, is Brown Owl. Sharon, tell us, what's it all about?
So the Bookmark Project is a charity bookmark auction that we've been doing for the last 9 years now for Cornea Primary School in Zimbabwe. In January, the Brownies write to their favourite authors and illustrators. We ask celebrities to doodle bookmarks and we sell those each May to raise money for our school. Last year, we were able to build a classroom with the money that we'd raised over some of the previous years, and we're hoping this year to be able to build them a library, as most of the children don't have access to any books at home.
How appropriate, building a library. I've picked out these two because these are by Axel Scheffler, the artist behind Room on the Broom and the Gruffalo and all those famous things. He's been in touch to give us a very special message to the girls.
It's very much dictated by the format, so one tries to do something long or, like the giraffe is perfect for a bookmark. Anywhere in the world to get children to read and enjoy stories and enjoy books. So, and to provide funds for that is a great project.
So they're, of course, excellent to get people to read, and that's what the girls here are trying to encourage people to do. Just tell me, what's your name and who did you write to get a bookmark from?
My name is Poppy, and I wrote to Jim Field, and he is an illustrator, and he illustrated The Christmas Pig by J.K. Rowling.
Fantastic. A great book now. How about you? What's your name? Who did you write to?
My name is Sophia, and I wrote to Andy Griffins, and he wrote the book, The 13th Story Treehouse.
Fantastic. All of these famous authors, great books. Tell me about what did you do, Emily?
I did Phil Hicks, and he did Shallow Hall Academy.
Fantastic. All good things. Tell me your name. Who did you get in touch with, or what have you been doing for the bookmarks?
My name is Primrose, and I didn't do the bookmark project, but it's where we raise money for Cornea Primary School.
Fantastic. All for a good cause. And finally, whiz yourself around on your chair here. Tell me, who did you write to? How have you got involved?
My name is Rosalie, and I also wrote to Andy Griffins, and we
And we both got personalised cars with his signature on.
Fantastic. So do you think reading's a great thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely, of course it is. Reading's a great thing. Well done, girls. You're all doing a cracking job. And don't worry about missing out. The auction of these amazing bookmarks starts today. Don't worry, you're not going to miss out. It's on for 2 weeks until the 20th of May. Get your bids in.
Wonderful, thank you. So enterprising of those brownies as well.
Brilliant. Now then, what's your name and what do you do?
My name's Kerry and I'm going to do the weather for you today.
Oh, lovely.
That was too cute, wasn't it?
It
yeah, of course, tomorrow is a very special day. Lots of people asking about the weather, home and away. We've got high pressure in charge. This is the chart for tomorrow. Around that area of high pressure, though, there's some fairly keen winds running down the channel. So as we head through to Normandy tomorrow, we're expecting similar conditions to what Katie's had over the last few days. There'll be some sunny spells, maybe a shower, but for most it will be dry, bright, breezy with highs mid-teens. So wherever you are, it's a decent day and it should stay mostly dry. Now, I did mention earlier in the programme this photograph from our very own Chris Dawkes. The skies were amazing first thing this morning. You did send many of them. This was from Maria Fox. It's alto cumulus undulatus. So alto mid-cloud, cumulus, the lumpy clouds, and undulating with those winds that are in the upper atmosphere. So this is Hebden Bridge from Heptonstall, absolutely gorgeous, from Andrea, and this magnificent one of Castle Hill by Sandy Nicholson. Keep them coming, those photographs. Here is your forecast.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather.
Yes, a bit of cloud, no bother, especially when it creates some fantastic skyscapes. Another cracker here from Scarborough this morning. A big thank you to Angie, and a mackerel over the Minster first thing. A big thank you to Gary, weather photos at itv.com. So yes, some cloud this morning, but we did also see some sunny spells during the middle part of the day. But we're now looking to the east for thicker cloud along a fairly light northeasterly breeze, and that's going to drag in a little bit more cloud as we head through this evening and overnight tonight. It will become fairly patchy into the early hours, so some clearer spells in between. So in rural sheltered spots, 2s and 3s still not out of the question, but for most of us we're 6s and 7s as we head into tomorrow morning. And there are sun times for Thursday, 5:17 and 8:49. So anyone planning anything for VE Day tomorrow, it should be mostly dry. There'll be variable amounts of cloud for the morning, but we think a much better dose of sunshine across all parts for the afternoon and for the evening. Highs with just a light, fairly cool northeasterly breeze, 15 or 16 inland, a little fresher at the coast, and if a little bit of stubborn cloud laps onto the coastline, it will feel fairly chilly and could struggle to get into double figures. Otherwise, though, still here some decent sunny spells. Under the clearer skies tomorrow night, we're looking at a touch of frost, certainly in rural sheltered spots. But for Friday, to end the working week, a decent day, plenty of sunshine, dry and starting to feel warmer. We're importing that drier air from the continent along a southeasterly breeze, 18 or 19. A fine weekend ahead, plenty of sunshine, light winds, decent days, but still with some fairly chilly nights.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather.
Now, finally, just before we go, we wanted to show you some images of the Derwent Dam in Derbyshire.
It was lit up in red, white and blue last night to honour the part the dam busters played during World War II. The famous 617 Squadron flew secret practice missions over the waters of the Peak District site ahead of their raids on German dams.
And of course, it was all part of this week's commemorations before the 80th anniversary of VE Day tomorrow. And of course, we'll bring you coverage of those events from around our region and from Normandy on calendar at 6 o'clock, usual time tomorrow.
Absolutely. Well, that's just about all we have time for tonight. Thanks for watching and we'll see you tomorrow.
That was all. Good night.